ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:17-20. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Please. Dear devotees in Zoom, I hope you can hear me, also see the verse. Praharanti navaistrishu, praharanti navaistrishu, kritaghav swapi jantavaha, kritagasvapi jantavaha, kritagasvapi jantavaha. Kimutatvad vidharajan karunadina vatsalaha. करुणादीनवत्सलाः प्रहरन्ति न वै स्त्रीषु कृतागस्त्वपि जन्तवः किमुतत्वद्विदाराजन् करुणादीनवत्सलः. प्रभुस् प्रहरन्ति न वै स्त्रीषु कृतागस्त्वपि जन्तवः किमुतत्वद्विदाराजन् करुणादीनवत्सलाः प्रहरन्ति न वै स्त्रीषु कृतागस्त्वपि जन्तवः विदाराजन् करुणादीनवत्सलाः. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: Even if a woman does commit some sinful activity, no one should place his hand upon her. And what to speak of you, dear King, who are so merciful, you are a protector and you are affectionate to the poor. We'll also read the next verse, which is 21. Mam vipatyara Mam vipatyajaram navam Mam vipatyajaram navam Mam vipatyajaram navam Yatra vishvam pratishtitam Atmanam cha prajaschema Katam ambasi darsyasi. Synonyms: Mam, me, me, Vipatya, breaking to pieces, Ajaram, very strong, Navam, boat, Yatra, where, Vishwam, all worldly paraphernalia, Pratishtitam, standing, Atmanam, yourself, Cha, and Prajaha, your subjects, Cha, also, Imaha, all these, Katam, how, Ambasi, in the water, Dasyasi, you will know. Translation. The cow-shaped earth continued, My dear king, I am just like a strong boat, and all the paraphernalia of the world is standing upon me. If you break me into pieces, how can you protect yourself and your subjects from drowning? Purport. Beneath the entire planetary system is the Garbhavat. Lord Vishnu lies on this Garbhavat, and from his abdomen a lotus stem grows, and all the planets within the universe are floating in the air, being supported by this lotus stem. If a planet is destroyed, it must fall into the water of Garbha. The earth therefore warned King Prithu that he could gain nothing by destroying her. Indeed, how could he protect himself and his citizens from drowning into Garbha water? In other words, outer space may be compared to an ocean of air, and each and every planet is floating on it just as a boat or island floats on the ocean. Sometimes planets are called Dvipa or islands, and sometimes they are called as boats. They are called boats. Thus, the cosmic manifestation is partially explained in this reference by the cow-shaped earth. Before we begin to discuss these beautiful verses, please allow me to take blessings from my spiritual master, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, all the assembled Vaishnavas and our supreme personalities. Godhead. Shri ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप तथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाताम् सहगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you all for being here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Shyam Kishore Prabhuji, for the opportunity to discuss these two beautiful verses. And I sincerely seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees here, also the assembled devotees in Zoom. Thank you. Please bless me and empower me to speak the right words to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. First of all, I'm not sure if it is me alone. Every time I come and I seek an apology, please excuse me for disappointing you. It was supposed to be His Grace Kishore Prabhuji. So for some reasons, Prabhuji could not give class today. Please bear with me. We are discussing two very wonderful verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 4, verse number chapter 17, verse 20 and 21. For those of us to understand the background of what is happening in this canto, right after Dhruva Maharaj's pastimes, the samvad between Vidura and Maitreya has been happening. And we are very grateful to Vidurji. Because of Vidurji, he's been asking so wonderful depth of so many questions. Because of that, Maitreya Rishi is giving a detailed answer. So, very grateful to Vidurji for asking such wonderful questions. So, after the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, after reading Dhruva Maharaj pastime, the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, we discussed about King Anga and also Vena. After the death of King Vena, his body was churned. From his body first appeared a personality known as Bahuka. After Bahuka, two other wonderful personalities appeared. One was none other than the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, who is Shakti Avesh Avatar, who is Prithu Maharaj, whom we are discussing today, and also his divine consort, Archi. So after that, we've been reading this Prithu Maharaj. He was coronated as the king of the entire planets. And once he was coronated, all these great personalities, all the devatas, they are bestowing amazing blessings. The whole chapter, actually almost 9 chapters are dedicated for Prithu Maharaj from 15 to 23. So in the 15th chapter itself, we can see how various devatas, they are coming and blessing Prithu Maharaj, knowing that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are giving so many wonderful paraphernalias for him to continue with his pastimes. In today's pastime, we have to see especially about the bow and arrow, which was given by Agni Dev, and also the arrows were given by Surya Deva Bali. And Brahmaji gave a garment which is made of spiritual knowledge. In this way, all the devatas gave such wonderful gifts for him. And then there are 3 professional reciters, Suta, Magadha, and Bandi. They are professionally, Prabhupada uses the word nicely, professional reciters, but they are wonderful personalities. They are saying the glories of Prithu Maharaj. And in fact, these glories are befitting so wonderfully about Prithu Maharaj's divine qualities. Prithu Maharaj is none other than the divine Sakti Avesh Avatar, empowered incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Practically, the 16th chapter, entire chapter is about how, the qualities which Prithu Maharaj has. That's how they were glorifying him. And once that is done, Prithu Maharaj very nicely respected them and worshipped them, all 3 of them. And then, at that time, the citizens approached him. And citizens, they were looking very dull and they were also very emaciated. They have been literally under starvation for quite some time. So when they approached, they first appreciated Prithu Maharaj. Then they made their plea. Maharaj, we are going through a tough time. There is a severe food scarcity here. So please save us. We are literally burning from inside, just like a tree which is burning. The hollowness of the tree which is burning from inside is going to literally destroy the tree. We are almost in a similar situation. So please help us. Then Prithu Maharaj, after hearing their plea, he did not immediately act on it. This is a perfect example of how a leader should be. That's why I believe in GBC College, they exclusively speak about Prithu Maharaj and the management lessons we can learn from Prithu Maharaj. In fact, these 9 chapters of Prithu Maharaj are perfect syllabus for any MBAs or any management courses. And not only they make them as MBA, they will also make them as matured Brahmanas. Such wonderful explanation about each and every detail, which is mind-boggling, in fact. And Prithu Maharaj, what did he do? He didn't immediately act on it. He contemplated. He carefully thought about. He wanted to find what are the underlying causes and then act on it. Once he decided, then he took his bow, which was given by Agnidev, and arrows given by Suryadev, and started going towards Mother. In fact, he was about to shoot Mother Earth. And Mother Earth, knowing this is not an easy situation. This is very dangerous. I need to really safeguard. So she knew the heart of the Lord. She immediately took the form of a cow and then started running because she understood the reason. We all understand the reason for taking the form of a cow. First of all, cow is very dear to the Supreme Lord, and Prithu Maharaj is incarnation of the Lord. Definitely, being the upholder of Dharma, he will for sure, protect the cow. Took the form of a cow and started running. But Prithu Maharaj is very determined to protect his citizens as a perfect king. He started chasing Mother Cow, and Mother Cow went to, it is mentioned in the pages of Bhagavatam, that she went in between the place of heavenly planets and earth in the outer space. She was going to many places, all around, here, there, hither, thither. But she understood finally, it's not going to work. Wherever I go, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be saved. So I need to really take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So immediately she turned to Prithu Maharaj and first she said, please save me. Then she explained. Then she started explaining that I didn't do any mistakes. So let me explain. And this is another important management lesson. We need to hear. We need to literally hear from what the parties are saying. We just don't hear only one person and then come to a conclusion. We have to hear both parties. If there is a conflict, especially in a situation where there is a need for conflict resolution, it is a very important step is to hear from both sides and then contemplate on it before making a decision. So Prithu Maharaj is a perfect leader. He gave time. And Mother Earth, in the form of a cow, she started saying the reasons. She's literally saying, these are the reasons, I have to behave this way. Because Prithu Maharaj understood initially that it is not the fault of the citizens. Because sometimes if the citizens are lazy, then also there can be food scarcity. There can be less amount of grains for them to. But he understood very clearly it is not the fault of the citizen. So he has fully understood that it is the fault of Mother Earth who is not producing enough grains for the citizens. That is the reason he got angry. So furthermore, we will understand. So when we read this verse 20, Karuna Dina Vatsala is very affectionate to the poor. This word Dina Vatsala, a very, very amazing word. But when you say the word itself, we had a wonderful devotee in Singapore. His name was Dina Vatsala Krishna Prabhu. Wonderful disciple of His Divine Grace, Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. Amazing devotee. So the word Dinavatsal, when you say itself, we can understand the potency of the word. So she used very chosen words to pacify the Lord and to explain her situation. She says, even if a woman does commit some sinful activity, no one should place his hand upon her. And what to speak of you, my dear king, who are so merciful, you are a protector and you are affectionate to the poor. A very important point for us. Let's try to focus on this verse, then we will also discuss the next verse. It is very important. One time, a brahmachari who is not married, brahmachari, he asked a question to his Holiness Radhanath Maharaj after a class. This class was, about non-violent aspects. So he said, sometimes even in the temple also we see some ants, Sometimes when ants come, they don't come in single. They come in a row of ants. So, but in temple, we need to keep it clean. So, what do we do? Should we kind of kill them? But at the same time, we understand we shouldn't cause any violence to them. So, what should we do? Maharaj took that opportunity. And during that time, there was some situation going on at the temple. One Prabhu who was not treating his Mataji in a proper way. He was literally mistreating her. And that was kind of boiling around, and everyone was talking about, that is not the way. The Prabhu should have treated that Mataji very well. So Maharaj understood the need of the community. He gave an answer for 40 minutes. And in that answer, Maharaj started, yes, we should not commit violence to anyone. From there, he gradually came to that, what to talk about violence to anyone? even to your, loved ones also. Then gradually took it to the point that how important it is in Grahastha life for one to be very careful not to commit any violence. Violence not necessarily be on the physical platform, emotional well-being. In fact, when we hear the word protection many times, it is understood in a very negative way. What do you mean? The women should be protected. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that men are superior and they are supposed to protect the women. It means the men have the responsibility to facilitate the advancement of Krishna consciousness for the women. That's what it really means, actually. They should arrange everything in such a way so that they can advance in Krishna consciousness. That is the central focal point. And four aspects need to be taken care: physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well being. All the four aspects need to be taken care. Prabhupada was very particular about this. Prabhupada many times said, you can find so many references from the Veda base, especially during the management discussions among GBC, and so many letters to several devotees. Prabhupada brings this point again and again. He clearly says, where women are unhappy, Lakshmi will not stay. First thing, if women are not happy, that means the Matajis are not taken care properly, there are four calamities can happen, you can say. First thing, the very first aspect, the person who is committing that will have to go through his own karmic reactions because they are committing an aparat to a Vaishnavi. That is the first step. And then immediately Lakshmi Devi will withdraw her opulences. And third, there will be a social chaos. And fourth, there is a serious spiritual fallout. Because many times we don't realize, especially among the husband and wife, we take them for granted. We are very humble to everyone else in the world. Prabhu, you are the personification of humility, but at home, you are the personification of Yamaraj. There is a different personality. And we have heard this several times. You need to be very, very cautious because two things. First of all, she was a Mataji, wife. And second of all, she is a Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi is very, very dear to the Supreme Lord. And third, she is the daughter of your spiritual master. And we also, if they are from the same spiritual master, also God's sister. So at every level, it is very, very detrimental to one's spiritual life. So even if you take on a material aspects, first thing one will lose is Lakshmi Devi will not stay in that place. So let's be very careful about it. And then coming back to the point, Prabhupada was very careful, especially showing as an example how Mataji should be treated. If you talk to any of the senior Matajis, Yamuna Mataji, be it Malti Prabhu, or Vishaka Mataji, or Rukmani Mataji, all of them will say that how Prabhupada was very caring, very protective, and very encouraging Matajis at every level. And Yamuna Mataji would say that Prabhupada never treated us, to make us feel small. She always encouraged us. In fact, Prabhupada is the most revolutionary that Prabhupada gave Brahman initiation to Matajis, and which is never heard of before. And not only that, Prabhupada allowed them to go to altar, dress the deities, perform arati, and give classes. It is amazing if you think about it. Back in the 60s and 70s, we cannot even understand. Now we are in 2026, but 60 years ago, it was a big revolution. And Prabhupada did it not as a social responsibility, not just allowed as a social responsibility. Prabhupada wanted to bring this important point that Mataji's women should be treated properly and should be given that respect and dignity so that they can advance in Krishna consciousness. A very important point. And Prabhupada was very caring. Sometimes we come to an understanding about external situation. And Malti Prabhu once very nicely said, Malti Prabhu, she had the desire to become cook for Srila Prabhupada. So she was literally longing for an opportunity. And when Prabhupada and his entourage went to Mayapur, she got the opportunity because Mataji went along with Shamsundar Prabhu and Saraswati. So at that time, Prabhupada, gave her the opportunity to cook for him. And in Mayapur at that time, the facilities were very primitive. They had to stay in a hut. Let's try to understand. Being from America, and especially from California, where the weather is also comfortable, and they had to go to Mayapur, where the situation was in a very, very primitive condition. They had to stay in a hut. And there were no facilities at all for cooking. Let's try to understand. Even if you go to somebody else's house and if you are asked to cook, it's very difficult because you don't know where things are. You need to first gather the things and utensils and everything. It becomes quite challenging initially. And in your house, you have everything labeled, everything in a proper place. It's easy to cook. It's just that you need to get them together. But whereas in somebody's place itself is difficult. Think about a place where there is no facilities and everything she has to create that facility. No stove, she has to get the stove, prepare it, and every situation demanded so much efforts. First of all, no proper facilities, staying in a hut, and she has to go to the treasurer of the temple every time, say that I need this much of Lakshmi for procuring vegetables and groceries. And treasurers are always very careful in giving Lakshmi. So Mataji has to literally use explanation after explanation to say that I want this much. And then think about it. Being a Mataji in a Caucasian body, it was so difficult. Mataji could say that being in white body, it is very difficult because everybody would expect you to pay 10 times more than the normal price. So she had to bargain with the rickshawala, then she has to bargain with the boatman, then she has to bargain with the sabjiwala. So everything was a challenge. And this happened every day. And then when she comes back, she had to have 2 buckets of water. 2 buckets have to be literally brought with lot of physical effort. And as soon as she brings 2 buckets, 1 bucket will be taken by the personal servant of Srila Prabhupada saying that he needs it for bathing for Srila Prabhupada. And she has to manage with that. And she has to manage with only one stove. Many times, most of our stove at our home has 5 burners. Sometimes that itself takes us time for us. But with one stove, she has to manage cooking. She did it. And every day she just wanted to please Srila Prabhupada. And she would, nicely do everything and food will go. And Prabhupada would sometimes say, and devotees also would say, Prasad is salty today. And some days, Prasad, there is no salt. This is less and that is more like that. And she was feeling so miserable. I just want to please my spiritual master. That is my only goal. I just want to cook nicely, but it is not happening. What should I do? She was thinking, maybe I should give this service to somebody else. And she was thinking in that way. She was trying to approach the Prabhupada that day. And sorry, next day. Next day morning, she came to know that many senior god brothers of Srila Prabhupada are coming to meet him. And during those days, first of all, Mataji cooking for a sannyasi itself is a big thing. They wouldn't accept it. जय श्री श्री राधा गोपी चंद्र भगवान की जय जय भगवान गौरी की जय श्री भगवान की जय. That itself is a big thing. So she was feeling very nervous about how do I cook for Prabhupada and his god brothers. And she has to, take the chapatis have to be hot, and she has to take in. And when she was taking in, and she paid obeisances, and he was feeling literally, uncomfortable being in front of the sannyasis because she doesn't want anybody to say anything bad about Srila Prabhupada. She was very particular. For her, Prabhupada is Mataji's life and soul. And she was, with so much devotion, she was offering. And that day, Prabhupada made an amazing statement, which is very, very powerful. Prabhupada, he immediately said, she cooks for me every day, looking at Malti Prabhu. She said, but all I do is to criticize her. With compassion, the next statements, Prabhupada said, but she would slit her throat for me, and I will do the same for her. And hearing that, whatever thoughts or doubts Mataji had, everything disappeared. And she became very emotional. Mataji says literally her sari was wet because of the tears came from tears of gratitude. She was thinking how Prabhupada said, saying the statements to sannyasi godbrothers, saying that she will cut her throat for me and I will also do the same. And that is Prabhupada, giving so much love and affection to all his disciples. No differentiation at all. In fact, every Mataji disciple of Srila Prabhupada would feel that how they received so much affection and love from Srila Prabhupada. And many times, even from Prabhus also you will hear, Mukunda Maharaj would say that whenever a conflict would come to Prabhupada among husband and wife, Prabhupada will chastise the husband first. And then he will take the corrective measures. Only if it is difficult, then there is, Prabhupada would advise them to separate. But Prabhupada was always trying to protect and take care of the Matatis. And many times, Prabhupada made this statement very clearly. Spiritual advancement ends when there is an exploitation of women. When there is exploitation of women, spiritual advancement ends. That means there is no spiritual advancement at all. There is an exploitation or mistreating of Matajis. So let's coming back to the verse today. So after saying this, then immediately our mind will think about why did Prithu Maharaj did this? Prithu Maharaj being a great devotee and more importantly, he's the Sakti Avesh Avatar. How could he do this? So let's try to understand. Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, he very nicely explained this actually. We all have understood from the beginning of our Krishna consciousness, there are three karmas, right? What are the three karmas? Vikarma, karma, and then akarma. Vikarma is activities which are done whimsically, not following the Vedic authorities, and which are a complete no-no, which is not good, which is going to cause serious sinful reactions. That is vikarma. And karma is the activities, and here it is according to the Vedic scriptures, right? But not to the level of pure devotion. They are more like karma kanda. Karma kanda is given in the Vedas. So, to please the higher personalities, there are prescriptions given. We follow the prescriptions and act accordingly. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopi Janavalla Bhagavan ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. So they follow according to the Vedic scriptures, which is given for a reason to gradually elevate each and every individual to the highest level. So they follow that and get benefits, but that's not the highest. Still, there is karmic reactions. When you do good activities, we receive punya, pious credits. When we do bad activities, we receive papa or sinful reactions. The highest is akarma. Akarma is doing activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord only. Yajnartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaya. Tadartam karma kaunteya. What is the last word? Tadartam karma kaunteya. Yeah, Mukta Sangha Sabhasha. The important word here is Yajnartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaya. Work or sacrifice has to be done for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Otherwise, the same work will cause bondage and entangle us and bring us severe reactions. So work has to be done only for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. In fact, we don't have any other options. We all understand, we are all struggling in this material world. And His Divine Grace, Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, one of his favorite verses, he would sing this beautiful verses of Bilamangala Thakur. Samsare kupe patito tyagade. What's the next line too? Mohanta purne vishayabhitate karavalambam mama dehi Vishnu Govinda damodara madhaveti Govinda damodara madhaveti Govinda damodara madhaveti. We are literally toiling and boiling in this material world. Samsara kupe, it's a deep, dark well. Patitotya gade, it is actually bottomless pit. It is so deep, actually speaking. And we are literally struggling. Why? Because moga andhar. We are, first of all, blinded by the illusion, by Maya. And we are attracted to the sense enjoyment. And due to which we are suffering so much. What is our hope? We are literally begging at the Lord. Karavalamba mamadehi Vishnu. My Lord, please extend your hand and save me. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. That is the situation we are in. In that situation, the only solution to come out of this all this entanglement is Mamchayo Avicharini Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samadhikaita Brahma Bhoyaya Kalpate. The only way is to perform devotional service, surrendering to the Lord. And very important is Avyabhicharini, without failing in any circumstance. When we do that, what happens? Then Brahma Bhoyaya Kalpate, we can completely come over these or transcend the modes of material nature and come to the stage of Brahma Bhoya. So that is our only hope. To come to the stage, we need to perform devotional service. So coming back again, in this situation, with whatever facilities we are, how can we understand, how can we be truthful, honest, and act in a way where justice is given for all, especially if you are under management. If you are in a temple management or any other management, the responsibility becomes even more tough because with our limited intelligence, how much can we understand? How much can we be fair? We are actually doubting Prithu Maharaj at this time. Why Prithu Maharaj is behaving this way? Why is Prithu Maharaj causing harm to Mother Earth? So coming back, why we are saying this Vikarma, Karma, Karma is, this is for this reason. To understand on a deeper level. First of all, when in the Karma Kanda, when somebody performs a particular activity prescribed in the Vedas, then they have to get the benefit, or the demigods, the devatas, are supposed to give them the benefits. There is no way around because they have done it according to the prescription. So there are two things, rights and duties. In this world, everybody talks about rights more than the duties and responsibilities. What is a right? Right to vote, right to live, right for freedom of speech, all these are rights. Right is an entitlement that I want to have this. But what is duty is an obligation, what I am supposed to do. So we might have this, but the more important point is the duty. So what is the duty of the Devatas? The Devatas are supposed to provide the facilities when someone does, according to the Vedic scriptures, a particular sacrifice or a particular activity. So we have seen in the 16th chapter, these citizens, they were performing their sacrifices, they were performing their work for the pleasure of the Devatas. So in every yajna, who is the first person to come is Lord Vishnu comes and accepts, and then all the Devatas, respectively, they come and accept the benefits. And once they receive, they are supposed to provide the facilities. In this scenario, in the next verse, Mother Earth will say, our Prithu Maharaj will say, you came and accepted all these benefits from the yajna. So you are also one of the beneficiary. So you disobeyed my order. So first she disobeyed the order and she also didn't provide the facilities as is your duty. That's why Prithu Maharaj got upset with Mother Earth. And more importantly, not just one person, the entire kingdom was affected. So many of his citizens were literally starving because Mother Earth did not provide the enough grains. Now this doesn't end. Then in the set of verses which are following, Mother Earth will say the reason why she's not providing the grains. I think which we will say for the upcoming speakers. I want to finish up everything today. So the important point here is to act after deliberate contemplation, not immediate. And it is very, very important. Otherwise, we might commit a serious offense and which can end up in costing our own spiritual life. That's why one need to be very careful. So the next set of question might arise in our mind. Okay, the citizens were trying to please the demigod by following what is given in the Karma Kanda prescriptions. Then we are devotees. We don't do any such sacrifices or any other process. It is clearly said we have to worship the Supreme Lord. We are supposed to do Krishna karma, akarma, that's it. Then how are the demigods are pleased? We've been told at the beginning itself, because many of us might have been demigod worshippers, devata worshippers. So at that time, many of us might have heard this fear. What if I don't do some activity that pleases this devatas? What will happen? So it is very clearly said, when Krishna is pleased, everyone is pleased. Yasmin tushte, jagat tushta. So when Krishna is pleased, everyone is pleased. In fact, when Krishna is pleased, they are more pleased. It is said, we cannot individually please all these devatas. But when Krishna is pleased, collectively all the devatas and everyone included, they are pleased. So we are very safe. Coming back to the point in this 21st verse, now she is bringing the point that, oh Prithu Maharaj, oh my king, don't kill me. I'm like a boat for this entire world. If you destroy the boat, what will happen? People who are on the boat, they will drown in the ocean. And literally all the planets are floating by Krishna's mysterious energies. And underneath the planet, underneath the universe, there is Garbha ocean, Garbha water. So what will happen? If you destroy the boat, then everyone will drown in the Garbha water. Then again, if you think about Prithu Maharaj, who is Sakti Avesh Avatar, he can handle the situation. He doesn't have to worry. So all these explanations or all these justifications, even though she is making it, Prithu Maharaj is patiently listening. And furthermore, our Mother Earth will explain more and more why she did not give the grains, sufficient grains, or did not produce sufficient grains. And then the situation will get rectified, and Prithu Maharaj, towards the end, we will understand how righteous is always, how wonderful manager, how wonderful King Prithu Maharaj is. In every aspect, he took care of it so beautifully and upheld the duties of Dharma as a king, as a, the Supreme Lord. So, thank you so much. I'm so sorry if I spoke anything inappropriate that is not relevant. Please excuse me. Are there any discussions or any reflections devotees would like to share?
Thank you for the wonderful class, emphasizing on so many important points. I was just thinking, that's not a question, but when we see that we practicing devotional service, one can please Krishna by pleasing his children as well. So when we think about any relationships in material world, want to talk about just our immediate relatives, one has to actually bring the nature of compassion towards every living entity. And that is such an important aspect which you mentioned on that part, which is especially our family members. Not only they are family members, but they are also devotees. So that brings the other aspect, which is devotee aparad, Vaishnava aparad, and that is so.
Wonderful point. Yeah, actually, very nicely you brought this point. Actually, when Rajesh Prabhu came here, he said a beautiful verse. I think this verse comes towards the end of this fourth canto, spoken by Narada Muni to Prachetas. Daya sarva bhuteshu. What is the next one? He says three things. Daya sarva bhuteshu. It's a beautiful verse actually. Santushtyayena kena va sarvendriyopakshamkya cha tushyat janardana. He says, tushyat janardana. To quickly please the Lord. If you want to please the Lord quickly, asu is fast, very quick. There are three things we need to do. First one is daya sarva bhuteshu. One need to have daya, compassion for sarva bhuteshu, all the living entities. And then second one is santushtya ena kenava. Somehow or the other, one should feel satisfied. Santushtya. One should know how to feel satisfied. And the third one is sarvendriyopa shantyacha. one should control, we need the exact word, restricting the sense from the sense enjoyment. By doing these three, one can please the Supreme Lord Janardhan very quickly. So it is a very, very important responsibility on us that we need to be compassionate. And practically speaking, in my situation, I don't have compassion. So we can only pray that I can have that, I'm equipped with that compassion required. So, and one need to be very careful because people can hurt from being silent also. That's what we see in the beginning of this fourth canto. King Uttanapad, he didn't speak anything, but by being silent, he caused so much damage to Dhruv Maharaj. So sometimes you might think that I didn't speak anything, I didn't act on it, but being silent also we can be violent. So one needs to be really careful in taking care, as I mentioned, four aspects: physical well-being, emotional well-being, social well-being, and spiritual well-being. And that is our responsibility. So anyone, not only for managers or not only for temple management, everyone practically has someone to take care as a father or as a son taking care of the elderly parents at every level. One needs to be very careful. We can actually think of these three things. Are people feeling safe in my presence? Are they feeling intimidated? Are they feeling uncomfortable looking at my position or being in this situation? And then what will Arshana Prabhupada think about? Will he approve of my action? If we can think on these three levels, that really help. Like that can happen with our spouses also when we are dealing with them. Sometimes words come out like this. Will Srila Prabhupada approve my words? Will Prabhupada approve my behavior? Am I being, intimidating to the person? Or are they feeling safe in my presence? These three aspects can really help for us to understand, I believe. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Any
Hare
other
Krishna Prabhuji,
reflections?
Dandavarpanam.
Hare Krishna Mantaji, Dandavat Pranam.
Very grateful, very nice class, Prabhuji. I have one question. You mentioned that I didn't pay attention. To please the Lord very quickly, there are three things. One is senses control. What is the other two?
First one is Daya Sarva Bhuteshu, having compassion for all the living entities. Second one is Santushtya Yena Kenava. Somehow other we need to be satisfied with our existing condition or life. Third one is Sarvendriya, that is the restricting senses from sense enjoyment.
Sure, thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, with this we will continue. Go ahead.
As I was giving you
So you're feeling safe right in the presence. For those of the Zoom devotees, the question is asked by Hemanga Gopi. Not question, a comment. Comment.
giving the point, if we develop our relationship with Krishna, if our relationship with Krishna is deeper, then all the situations can be handled. That word conflict will not come in the picture to a greater extent when the Samvela Gyan is deeper and deeper. So, with the Shanti Prabhu's permission, we want to share this introduction. So, Prabhuji called and I'm sorry I did not bring the necklace out. Which one did you put it on? So he actually amazingly like Vaishnava quality, he apologized. He does not have to apologize to me at all. He should start with just like me. He should not call me first. But such a wonderful Vaishnava as he is. So he started the conversation by what I say that immediately softened my heart. Because first when his call comes there is a fear. What went wrong? But started with apology, then I came down. And I apologize that I should have called him and shared with you. But when I opened the cupboard, the dress was like, it was so cold and the weather, and I gave so much explanation for why it chose that. And he said, no, that was perfectly fine. And Krishna has this way, what he wants to wear. So both of us were trying to please the Lord, whatever knowledge we had. agreeing on it, like not finding fault with each other and seeing if Krishna is pleased. That is what is Vaikuntha atmosphere. As juniors, we apologize. As seniors, we also apologize. And we see how we can help each other in our relationship and serving them. That should be our motto. So I'm very thankful for such amazing devotees in this congregation who always uplift with their mood, even though I try to get in that direction. So Maharaj was sharing in the JBC college that the whole point is if there is an investment. Many examples were given where Swayambhuva Manu, Narada Muni, and his son, who was very, when Narada Muni saw, he was like, he should become a brahmachari. But Swayambhuva Manu was like, I need to have him as continue with the legacy of becoming the king and get married and all that. So when Brahmaji came to resolve this whole situation, so always we see this conflict when it comes between devotees. There is a trust. Everybody trusted Brahma's decision. They had the faith. So that Maharaj was saying that trust is like the oil that is so much needed for smooth running from Shraddha to Prema for the vehicle to run. So for the trust to build, there has to be a loving relationship between devotees. That loving devotional relationship will come only when Krishna is in the center. The supreme unlovable object is in the center. The love will flow between the devotees. So that smooth oil is that element of trust. And this will gradually develop between the devotees. Then all the so-called conflicts will be automatically resolved. So moving further, we can see it's also seen in one's life, for especially for Matajis, when we have young babies in our life, very, very young. There are situations when we chastise them and we get heavy on them. As long as that child is really, really young, the child will actually cry and run towards the mother. The child will not run away from the mother. So, because of the trust and love that is developed between the mother and the kid, the child will cry and run for comfort towards the mother. So, the chastisement it was for the benefit of the kid, even though he doesn't understand, but there is so much love. So, the child will not seek comfort from neighbors. So, similarly, in our situation, like when Prabhupada chastised so many devotees, but all the devotees are writing books on how they got chastised from Srila Prabhupada because those chastisements uplifted them. So if we are not at that level that our chastisement can uplift somebody, we better not chastise anybody at that situation. So we handle it with too much care and we focus on building the loving relationship by increasing our sambandha with Krishna. So these were some of the points that I've shared and I feel it's very helpful for me in the open direction.
Thank you so much.
I was remembering this that I was speaking about a very wonderful concept of horizontal relationship and vertical relationship. A very insight.
No, go ahead. No understanding what these are not shared with the music on this. So go ahead. It's there, the answers.
This the vertical relationship is that correctly horizontal relationship.
Yes.
Okay, the horizontal relationships are having issues, which means the connection with the Lord is not there.
Yes.
And at the same time, if the horizontal relationships are not perfect, the vertical relationship will not be perfect because that is not there. And that is what I was just thinking about.
So beautiful. Thank you, Imam Gopi Devi and Nivedita Prabhuji. Very nice aspect.
Just because of a lot of discussion going on, understanding and the way, the relationship. I have this 28-second clip that I just shared. It's very sweet and it nicely Maharaj explains. I want to have you here.
Explain when we have disagreement. True. Explain. We have disagreements. If we have high purpose, then we're recognizing why we're together. Then we can easily or maybe not easily, but we understand the necessity of forgetting these little things. Somehow or other adjusting.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very powerful. Thank you.
Very nice.
One time, two devotees went to Maharaj when they had a situation where, where there was an uncomfortable situation among husband and wife. So it was a severe conflict. They went to Maharaj, and little ago, this incident happened, 9/11 incident happened. So Maharaj just asked one question, actually. Think about it. If you are in the building, in the same floor in which the airplane was hit by the terrorist, if you are in that situation, would you think what you are going through now is anything important? When they thought about it and said, no, Maharaj, no way. Then they went back happily, understanding that those were some petty issues which they can sort it out. So thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, to both of you, you're very exalted. I'm nothing, somehow, you're all tolerating me. Actually, one thing that I really appreciated is when Barbari Prabhu mentioned that I really touched my heart, and I like to think like that also. That when you see behavior in someone and you can relate it to an eternal associate of the Lord, that's very purifying and that's also very uplifting. So, like some devotees, they're very quiet and soft, and some people are like that, and some people are very impressive. So, in the spiritual world, there is, I mean, just for the sake of understanding, there is right wing and left wing. So, right wing is very mild, soft. Left wing is very harsh and strong. So the thing is that both are pure devotees of Krishna. Both are doing for pleasure of Krishna. So I think the more one can relate, make the connection between the temporary nature, because ultimately every devotee is going to use his eternal nature in the service of the Lord. So there's nothing right or wrong. It's just a matter of purifying that nature and offering it in the service of the Lord. That's very wonderful way to deal with this.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Your words of wisdom is very, very deep and very helpful. Thank you, Prabhuji. With that open. In Zoom, anyone has any questions or anything to share? If not, we'll conclude.
Hare Krishna,
And
Prabhuji.
you also, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, very nice class, Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, you
so
covered very nicely about giving surrender to Mataji's. But how about Mataji's also?
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you repeat the thing?
Prabhuji, you said all about I know Mataji is sitting there.
Yeah.
So you said nicely that we have to surrender to Mataji. But how about Mataji also? To give
Prabhuji.
to putting you in trouble.
Gives the class, she will say. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
No, sorry to put you in trouble.
No, not at all, Prabhuji. Hema Gopi is very merciful to me, so no problem. And for those of you who are not familiar, in fact, Hema Gopi is the one who brought me to Krishna consciousness. She is also my Pat Pradarshaka Guru. So not only me, several devotees who are now, not me, several devotees who are prominent preachers were brought by her. So I'm thankful to her. Probably what I understand is it applies for both. That's why Daya Sarva Bhuteshnu. He didn't mention only for Prabhu's or Mataji's, but why the emphasis is given again and again. Prabhupada wanted to emphasize about taking care of Mataji's and keeping them happy in Krishna consciousness is very important because as such in the material world, there is so much difficulties and torture is going on, both physically, psychologically, socially. So that needs to be addressed. That needs to be taken care. And Prabhupada was very particular that needs to be taken care in the movement first, so it can go to the world. So Prabhupada was showing the example how Mataji should be treated, how they should be taken care, how they should be facilitated in advancing Krishna consciousness. So it applies for both, Prabhuji. If Mataji is committing a violence to husband, emotionally or physically, that is also Vaishnava Para, and they will also have to go through the same. It applies severely. And Vaishnava, spiritual fall down is common in Vaishnava Para. Doesn't matter Mataji or a Prabhu or even a little kid. If you are offending a little Vaishnava, little children, that also can cause serious fall down. So in that case, Sarva Bhuteshu, that applies all. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, thank you all so much for tolerating me. Please forgive me if I spoke anything inappropriate or irrelevant. Please excuse me as your humble servant. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.